I just like it the way it is. And Dustin, your empirical evidence suggestion, I'm sure works. I'm sure they had their evidence that said that Ajmal ball is going to miss stump.
There's a whole PDF, Ronak. I can share it with you.
Please, I love PDFs. Okay, on ESPNcricinfo Runorder, we are going to try and break down something that's become a bit of a hot topic in the aftermath of the first two test series, at least the first two tests between India and Australia, and that's the umpire's call for the LBW. Now, it's been around for a while, since DRS. All of a sudden, the debate has been elevated further after Sachin Tendulkar took to social media to actually suggest it's time to do away with umpire's call, because for a number of reasons. One, to explain to a novice that how can the same ball be both out and not out depending on the on-field umpire's decision. Tendulkar also points out that that the reason that players review a decision is because they're not happy with the on-field umpire. So if it goes to the TV umpire, then why must it go back to an on-field call? That was the theory of, arguably the greatest batsman that's ever played the game. Let's see what Aakash Chopra, Tom Moody, Michael Hussey, and Nikhil Naz and Dustin Salgado make of all of this. It's so much fun watching batsmen talk about bowler-friendly rules just as they've retired. But let's leave that aside and ask all of you what you make of the umpire's call. Is it good as things stand? Is it time to tweak it? We've seen all sorts of ball tracker surprises in cricket in recent memory. Tom, take it away.
Look, I agree with Sachin Tendulkar, to be honest with you. Ideally, what we want is DRS and the third umpire to just get rid of the howler, the decision that is a poor decision, and the players to have the benefit of having that referral to, just to ask the question about. At the moment, it's become more of a game within the game.
Let's put the information out there. Like you point out, the reason that umpire's call exists is because the technology, as things stand, doesn't provide the guarantee that it is 100% conclusive. Therefore, a projected path of a potential of a ball that after an LBW appeal is something that is not 100% accurate. Therefore, the margins of the umpire's call. Now, either you accept it in spite of its flaws and say, I'm okay with that. If it's hitting even part of the stump, it's out. Or you say, fine, because the margins are there, we trust the on-field eye more than the technology. Mike Hussey.
Well, and you've stolen my thunder there, Ronak, because that's exactly why I think it should stay. I think because it is an estimate. The technology used is an estimate. There is an error there, plus or minus. And so if the ball is hitting 10% of the stumps or even 15, it might actually physically be missing the stumps. So, you can accept it as just hitting and that's out. I understand that side of the argument, and I certainly understand that it is confusing for the fans as it stands. But until the technology gets to 100% accurate, then I do believe there should still be an umpire's call.
If it is just clipping the bails and then the umpire has given it out or not out, if the decision are going to now be based on that, I'm not 100% convinced with that one. My only issue is that umpire's call, just make a distinction. Okay, if it is more than 50%, you're out. If it's less than 50%, you're not. That's it. So stick with that. Or because the other way is a very risky way, then the teams will get bowled out for 150. So every time if the ball is brushing the stumps, you start giving out. If this was how Test cricket was played all along, Anil Kumble would have taken 1,500 wickets and Shane Warne may have ended up with 2,000. So that is where things would actually go. These Test matches are not going to last 2.5 days. Get rid of the umpire's call for 2-3 things. One is the impact. There should not be any ambiguity about that. If you freeze frame at the point of impact, you should know whether it's in or out, or it cannot be an umpire's call. What you can see, just eliminate all those umpire's call any which way. And for the last one, the projected path, if it's more than 50%, give it out. If it is less than 50%, stay not out.
I'll throw in some more information on this. The reason that pitching is not open to an umpire's call is because they're absolutely sure where the ball is pitched. It's not a projected path. It's something that they can guarantee, and therefore you'll never see an umpire's call on that. On impact, it stays because for ball tracker to be 100% sure, you need one stationary surface, which doesn't happen when a moving ball hits a moving batsman's pad. Therefore, the exact point of impact as to what part of the ball hits what part of the pad at what time is still open to a margin of error, and therefore there remains an umpire's call for, again, the on-field umpire to have the best view of. Aakash is saying get rid of that and accept that at least for that there should be a black and white space. So this has triggered a debate on both fronts, on impact as well as on the ball, the projected path of hitting the stump. So put the info out there. My thoughts, Nikhil, are that if you are to take away umpire's call, like Aakash says, there are going to be a lot of 3 reds. Is that going to be fun? Is that going to trigger even more controversy for us?
No, I'd have to agree with Aakash there and what Michael said as well. I mean, you're right. And it's interesting that we're talking in the middle of a series where one team struggled to reach 200, the other one got out for 36. So I as much as I love low-scoring test matches, that's not what I really want to see. So, this human element, whatever benefit of doubt that you could give to the batsman, I'm all for it. And as you mentioned at the start, right, it's not 100% the technology that human element be there. I'll take an example of, let's say, soccer, where VAR is there. Certain things are certain. You have that line technology, goal line technology. If it's this side or that side, you're certain about it. But when it comes to the penalty, you leave it to the referee to decide, right? He can see the replay, but then there's that human element where he decides whether it's a penalty or not. And that can differ from a referee to a referee. So in that sense, I'd love for, this umpire's call to stay. It just allows for a more engaging match to be watched.
I quite like what Aakash is saying, and that is the 50%. If it just makes it a little bit clearer for everyone, and we don't need test matches going 2 days. I think I'm more of a traditionalist in that I like the umpires to have their say, and that to me adds a bit of romance to the game as well. But I also of the view that if you have quality technology, you need to use it, because these careers and these series are very, very important in many, many different ways, and you can't have human error dictating the outcome of someone's career or the outcome of a series.
That Hawkeye actually has empirical evidence to support their technology. I mean, they can actually, take deliveries that go into the keeper's gloves and then look at the predicted path as against where the ball actually went. And they say that when they do that, they're within 1 millimeter accuracy. So I think, if the technology is that accurate, then I think we need to acknowledge that and say that, okay, we can go with the technology here because they actually have empirical evidence. It's not that it's guesswork or they're just kind of making claims. They're saying that they have studies that actually show how accurate their technology is.
If we are to simply make this about the DRS was brought in to remove the howler, and the 50-50 call shouldn't be such an issue. It could go either way. That's just how sport works. Mike Hussey, would you buy that?
Yeah, I'm a bit like Tom. I like the umpires having to make a decision. I guess I was always brought up as a kid, you've got to accept the umpire's decision, and whether you agree with it or not, the umpire's always right. But if we can help the umpire get the correct decision, then by using the technology, I think that can only be a good thing.
Okay, let's go around the room finally. As things stand, accept it, change it up, or Aakash's suggested version of just change the parameters on which umpire's call is adjudicated.
I'm going with the DRS Chopra.
DRS Chopra. We should call it that now. Yes, Nikhil?
That's it.
I like the way it is, and we should begin to trust the technology. 9 months ago, before the lockdown started, probably not. But now that it enables us to do shows as we are doing right now, it's time that we gradually begin to trust technology.
I'm with Aakash as well, but I think we need to keep the umpire's call in some way, shape, or form.
I just like it the way it is. And Dustin, your empirical evidence suggestion, I'm sure works. I'm sure they had their evidence that said that Ajmal ball is going to miss stump.
There's a whole PDF, Ronak. I can share it with you.
Please, I love PDFs.
Nerd alert!
I spent an hour this morning reading it.
Well done, Dustin.
You've already gotten to the stage where the front foot no ball is now being called by technology. I actually see on-field umpires having a tablet in their hand and making decisions like that, because technology will reach that far, provided you embrace it and you try and keep improving.
Well, if they get the tablets in hand, that'll be fun. That's more sponsorship. We're already going to the umpires of the umpires in this year's Big Bash. Give them a tablet, that'll be fun. Bruce Oxenford already has the shield to place the tablet on if he needs anything. But this was fun. Thank you very much to Aakash Chopra, Tom Moody, Mike Hussey, Dustin Silgado, who made this a lot of fun by mentioning a 100-page PDF document of empirical evidence that Ball Tracker has back their theories. Nikhil Naz as always. And it's not cricket if it's not going to be a little complicated, you'd think.